Hello everyone, it's Silvia from Tarot. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a very exciting unboxing. I have been waiting for one of these three decks in specific for a long time. Not in the sense that there were delays in the post office, but I've been waiting to get my hands on it and it wasn't easy. It's all three of these decks unfortunately are out of print now. And in particular, one of them is actually very hard to find, but the other two are not easy either. So I was quite happy. On the one hand, it's a bittersweet, let's say, because obviously I was happy that I could find them. On the other hand, I only have one copy on each and every one of them, and it would be difficult because I really feel like I want to use them, but on the other hand, I'll be scared of ruining them. So let's have a look, because I don't even know what the feel of the decks will be. And without much further ado, let's dig in. Okay, so the first deck I'm going to show you is the Pocket of Vines deck. This one is already out of the box because I bought it secondhand from a friend in the tarot community, and she was really kind, because basically what happened is that this deck, even though it is out of print and hard to find, she charged me basically the original price of this deck. And the reason was that it wasn't her fault, but basically it was kept in a purple bag, and as a consequence there might have been some kind of perhaps moisture or something like that. And as you can see, some of the cards have a little bit of transfer of ink from the purple bag into the cards themselves. So in some of the cards it's just the bags, which is really not that big a deal, as you can see. But there are a couple of cards that have a few spots here and there, a few stains. And she reached out to me and she said, look, are you sure that you want it? Because, you know, it's got this and this, and generally speaking, you know, there's a lot of people that would refuse to buy a deck in those conditions, but I honestly didn't mind, because first and foremost, this deck actually looks like it's made, you know, to be used a lot. And it's also because the fact that it's got this kind of a sepia tones to it, and it doesn't have any other color. So obviously there's a lot of pen work here, I guess. It looks as if, you know, you're meant to use it a lot. It's meant to be kept outside of the box, and you know, it's very sturdy, by the way, really good quality, very it's a matte finish, and you can tell it's one of those really sturdy decks that can be with you for a while. And it's, I don't know, it gives me the vibes of those kind of decks that really you use them all the time, and they kind of, you know, they yellow out a little bit, they have this kind of antique feel to them as well. And I really don't mind that it's got let's say one every 10 cards has got a bit of a stain, because it contributes to that, and it's a bit of a, you know, it's the life of the deck. Now this is a very special deck, and that's why I was very happy to find it, because it's got a complete renaming of the major arcana, and also of the name of the suits of the minor arcanas. But what I like it, but the reason why I like it is because it's got these really powerful, very, very important keywords at the bottom. So for example, we've got the 5 of vessels, and the keywords are restrictions, poverty, failures. So obviously in a 9 of Eyes, for example, this is the 9 of Swords. I think vessels, I always thought that it was a kind of a cups, the renaming for cups, but poverty is more related to the 5 of Pentacles, so perhaps vessels is pentacles. So the reason why I'm not actually well versed on, you know, this the renaming of the cards and the suits is because I actually haven't used it as a tarot deck, if you can believe it. I have used it a lot in the last few days, ever since I got it, but I used it as an oracle deck. So I literally just concentrate on the keywords. When it comes to the major arcanas, because they have been renamed, I'm really happy to also have a look at the new name that have been assigned. So wilted, ending, change, renewal, and it works really well. It works really well for as an oracle deck. I also really like that when there's, for example, a plant, you can find the name of the plant, as you can see. Definitely vessels need to be, you know, cups. So it's a very, and needles, probably needles is traditionally when the suit of swords is changed, needles is one of the names. So eyes, I'm thinking eyes is probably pentacles in that case, because it looks like it is. Five of eyes, illusion, disappointment, broken. But that to me is more the Five of Cups. So I don't know, but in any case, let me know what you think about this deck, because I haven't seen it around much. I knew about this deck because I had seen it in only 1 or 2 accounts on Instagram, and I really fell in love with it when I saw it. And then I looked for it and I couldn't find it because it's out of print, and not many people actually selling it. And it just works. It really works like a charm when you use it as a as an oracle deck. And I realize this is not an unboxing, in the sense that obviously I have done an unboxing of this deck, otherwise I wouldn't know that it works so well as an oracle deck. The other 2, I promise, are genuine unboxing. They're still factory wrapped. It's just that I wanted to film an unboxing of this deck, but then I just didn't have time. And I really wanted to start using it, and then I just caved, started using it, and I thought, okay, but I really want to show, you know, this deck. So my impression is a bit of a mix between an unboxing and first impressions, and the impressions of someone who has already been working with the deck, but not necessarily the way it was meant to be. So awakening with forgiveness, spiritual rebirth. So you can see here, for example, in this case, you've got a little bit of a stain here. It's visible. I'm not saying that I can't see the stains, but I really don't mind them, because it looks like it's been done on purpose. It looks like it's been done to give this deck an air of, you know, of life that has been lived, well lived. And I really, really like it. I like the simplicity and the minimalism of the artwork, and certainly the minimalist color palette as well. And as I said, it works like a charm as an oracle deck. You know what? It actually works really well. It's just that the decks that I would love to pair it up with are already in a box. So it would pair really well with the Yokai Yochi Tarot, if you know what I mean, because it does have the kind of same sepia tones and color palette, and I think that the style would go really well with it as well. And it's also got that kind of the same kind of energy. So I would love, as soon as we move and I settle down and I can, you know, have access to all of my decks again, which I can't wait, I'm definitely going to try and pair it up with that, because it really feels like it could be the perfect match for the Yokai Yochi. But there's other tarot decks that you know, could go really well with this one, and I tried the other day, so I'm just going to show you quickly. As I said, I only have access to a limited number of decks, unfortunately, although I keep on buying them, so it's actually really scary, because I keep on saying, no, I only have a few decks, and then I realize that I keep on buying them, and so they're not few anymore. So this is the Avisomnia Tarot by Orla Bird, who, by the way, is also the author of the illustrations on the cosmic cards that I showed a couple of times on my channel. And she's also almost finished. I think I follow her on Instagram, and she's almost finished with her 3rd deck, which is going to be really beautiful. So let's have a look. We've got, let me show you how and why it works as an oracle deck. So 8 of Eyes, let's not focus on the fact that I think 8 of Eyes is supposed to be, no, in this case I think 8 of Eyes, I was going to say swords, but actually it's prospects, journey and sacrifice is more like, I don't know, it's like an in-between between the 8 of Wands and the 8 of Swords. Journey for sure, prospects perhaps, but sacrifice, I don't see sacrifice for the 8 of Wands. I kind of see it for the 8 of Swords, but not even that much. This is really weird. So that's the reason why, or perhaps it's even 8 of Cups, because prospects, journey, there you go. It's got to be the 8 of Cups. Anyway, you're probably yelling at me at the screen just to say, no, it's the 8 of what have you. But in any case, let's have a look at how it works like an oracle. So we've got prospect and journey and sacrifice between the King of Wands and the Lovers. That works really well. Obviously, when you're going into a relationship, you have to think that you're going to have, yes, prospects, of course, but you also have to sacrifice that part of you that doesn't fit in a relationship. Skilled and recognition and reward between the World and the Empress, which is definitely fitting in. You see how they really talk to each other? I have been blown away by how well these two communicate with each other. So we've got caution, premonitions and changes between the Chariot and the Queen of Swords. Absolutely, yes, you've overcome your obstacles, obviously, but you need to still be careful, because obviously once you overcome an obstacle, generally speaking, you need to reassess you know, your path, the path you're in. And so you need to be, you know, like the Queen of Swords, you need to be discerning, you need to understand what's right and what's wrong for you. We've got the Liberator with completion, freedom and wisdom between the Ace of Cups and the Four of Wands. Again, you're starting on a new project that is something that is close to your heart, and that will give you the possibility to feel liberated, to feel that kind of freedom and wisdom that come after that. And that's bringing up some kind of a celebration and completion of the task. I really enjoy using these two together. As I said, I probably see the Pocket of Vines deck to be pairing up probably better from a aesthetical point of view with the Yokai-Yochi, but I really do believe that these two are really good together. Just another couple of examples. We've got the restricted, indecision and fear between the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. We've got the two, we had the Two of Wands and the Three of Wands. It looks like it's made of puffer, but I actually really did shuffle the deck. But so I see this, the indecision, you come from the place in indecision, because on the Two of Pentacles, it's kind of a whimsical indecision. You're juggling too many things, of course, and you move on into the cooperation, which will definitely help you, you know, get rid of that kind of indecision and fear. Do you see how well these two work together? It's really mind-blowing. I absolutely adore them. And I do believe that from an aesthetical point of view, we also have a lot going on here. So this is the Pocket of Vines, and I've been paired it up with the Abyssomnia Tarot. But this next deck is basically the reason why I'm so excited today about this unboxing. And as you can see, this is still factory wrapped. So this is the Cross Magic Tarot by Londa Marks, and it was originally published by US Games, but that was a while ago, and unfortunately it went out of print, and I never thought about republishing it, and I don't understand why. So this deck has been on my wish list forever. Now, what happened was that a few months ago, I watched a video by Anna at the Astro Lady, and she adores this deck, and she said that there was an artist that revisited the concept of this deck and put it on for sale. Actually not for sale, but they put it on Make Playing Cards for no profit. So basically the artist was not making, the person that remade this deck with just a slight difference in appearance. So if I remember correctly, this one is supposed to have white borders, whereas the one that was uploaded on Make Playing Cards was completely black. So they uploaded it there not for profit, so they were not making any money. And it is my understanding that in that case, when you're not making any money, it's not plagiarism, so you can actually do that without, you know, incurring in fines. And but it was a very limited run, and what happened was that I was away, I did not have the opportunity to grab a copy, and then I forgot about it, and then it was gone. And so I really kicked myself because I really wanted it, and but on the one hand, I really wanted the original one. So you know, it's always difficult when you have been given an opportunity to acquire a deck, but it's not exactly what you were looking for. Now, it is a US Games tuck box, and I am not too confident in opening it without damaging. So what I'm going to do, they usually recommend doing this. So you take a scissor with a long arm, and then you just slide it inside, and it has to go all the way to the other side, because otherwise it doesn't work. So let's see if I can manage to do that, and then there you go, and then slowly you can open it. I don't know if I recommend it, but rather than, you know, having my nail digging into the box, to be honest, I prefer to do it this way. It is the recommended way, but I'm not that skilled. So there you go, there it is. My goodness, I'm so happy that I got this, and it was for a very reasonable price, so I didn't, you know, pay an arm and a leg for it. This is from 1998, and it was still printed in Italy, and it comes with a little white book. So let's have a look, because obviously it is double wrapped, so we need to remove the wrapping as well. So as I said, I just missed out on that opportunity, and I really hit myself because I really wanted it. But then on the other hand, you know, I thought, you know, keep your faith, keep being faithful, because perhaps one day someone will sell it. But I would have never thought of being able to get a copy that was completely mint, you know, still shrink wrapped for such a reasonable price. So you see, sometimes believing actually pays off. So this is the little white book. As I said, I don't expect too much out of it, but there's an introduction. Crows are enchanting and mysterious, among the most intelligent of birds. As to crafty thieves that will carry away small trinkets or bright objects of any kind. Absolutely. In Australia, we have white cockatoos that do exactly the same. And then it goes straight into the meaning of the cards, and we got the major arcanas with the upright meaning and the reverse meaning. Let's see, it doesn't look like it's actually referring back to the cards. It looks like these are general meaning for the arcanas. Yeah, and let's have a look at the minors. Okay, well, the good news is that at least it's got a fair bit, so the same length, let's say one sentence for the upright meaning and one sentence for the reverse meaning for each and every card, not just the majors. It doesn't look like it's got, okay, it's got the usual Celtic cross spread, and it's got a couple of pages left to notes. I mean, it was back then, that was what you expected of a little white book, and even now when it's a little white book as opposed to the guidebook, you don't really expect that much, do you? So it's got an introductory card. First, you know, this deck is from 1998, so obviously we're talking about 25 odd years ago, and obviously a few of the cards are kind of sticking together, but it's actually not that bad. I'm really happy about it. Okay, so there's the introductory card. These are the backs. It's got it's still, I think 98 was when they already changed the cardstock at US Games, because it doesn't have that buttery feel to it that we all know and we all love. There's another introductory card. So Cross Magic Tower is a place of dreaming and of visions, of finding answers and directions, travel to another world and time while discovering treasures and unearthing omens. Ooh. See what you have always wanted to see. Meet creatures who are sages, diviners, shamans, and enchanters. Most of all, experience the crow's magic. Okay. Let's have a look at the deck. Ah, that's so gorgeous. So I know that this deck is a bit, it's one of those decks that not everyone likes. Okay, so not only does it have the copyright, but it also shows the name of the author. And I think that they pretty much in the year 2000, they probably stopped doing that to the decks because people started complaining. See, this one has the white borders. The one that was available for a limited run on Make Playing cards did not have the white borders, but I will not touch that. I mean, normally, generally speaking, if this deck would still be in print, I would probably get rid of the white borders because I really love this really intense black background. But I'm not gonna touch this deck because out of print, really difficult to find. See, some of the cards are really sticking together, but I don't want to ruin them. So beautiful. So as you can see, this deck obviously has got a lot of symbology. It's got also not just the number and the title of the card, but we've got a little bit of keywords that refer to the archetype, in this case, of the major arcanas. It is not just animals. I don't know for what reason I thought that it was just about animals. And it is one of those decks that actually refers back to the number 8 being justice as opposed to strength. The Hermit, such a beautiful card. So I like that we still find the traditional RWS symbols, but they are paired up, let's say, with other symbols that belong to a different world. It feels like a very magic tarot. It feels like one of those magic with the CK, and that's, you know, not just in the title, it's actually the kind of feel that you get from this deck. It is such a beautiful deck, amazing. I have to say though, it's not the best cardstock, and I don't know whether it's because they changed the cardstock and then they changed it again in the year 2000. And so this was in between the really good cardstock they used to have in the 80s and early 90s and the most recent one. And so this one is actually very sticky, so I'm actually kind of struggling to separate the cards, but it could also be because it's such an old deck and it's never been opened, so it's never been receiving any kind of oxygen. As you can see, the minors are a little bit pippish, but I really don't mind. There's still a lot of, you know, information coming from the cards. And I mean, after all, okay, you know what, every time that there's a pippish deck, I'm also kind of hoping that the Three of Swords won't show a broken heart, but there you go, even in a pippish deck, that's fine. So as you can tell, it's a very exoteric kind of deck. We've got, I think this is a Black Widow, if I'm not wrong. So we have all kinds of spiders in Australia, but we don't have Black Widows. Although we do have redbacks. There's a lot of, and of course, probably a tarantula, I'm thinking, looking at it this way. Why do I know so much about spiders? Crocodiles. Raccoons and bears. I really, it's everything that I expected and more. It's such a beautiful deck. I think that, you know, I understand why there's a lot of people not liking this deck, because it's not everyone's cup of tea, and I get that. It's the feel of the deck that it's very special, and I think that you also need to have it in your hands. It's not something that you completely get the feel for it when you just look at it in a social media platform. But oh, look at the King of Coins. It's such a beautiful tiger. It's beautiful. So I'm really happy that I got this deck finally. It took years to have it. Ah, there you go. That's really cool. So we got all of these decks. So Encyclopedia of Tarot by Stuart R. Kaplan. Then we got Medicine Cards. Then The Crow's Magic by Londa Marks, which is this deck. Then again by Stuart Kaplan, Tarot of the Witches. And then a book by Edgar Allan Poe. And then the Londa Tarot by Londa Marks. Now, I just really started with this deck, but Londa Marks, I'm a fan. There's no two ways around that. I'm a fan. And I feel that, you know, this deck, because it came into my collection right now, it was the right time for it to come to me. That's what I believe. So this is the Crow's Magic Tarot by Londa Marks, as we've seen in a record, and it has been published by US Games. But let's have a look at the other deck. Okay, so the other deck that I wanted to show you today and do an unboxing together, so you can see my first impressions. And I'm just thinking I probably sound really dumb when I'm trying to convert the renaming of the suits. But you know, bear with me, it's just first impressions are first impressions, and everyone is entitled to know as little or as much about a deck as they want. So this is the Vampire Tarot. That's another deck by Natalie Hurt, also a US Games deck. And that's another deck that I've been looking for forever. I mean, it's not an easy one to find, and it's also because, let me tell you, the problem when you search for a deck like this is that when you type in the Vampire Tarot, you have at least 5 or 6 decks that have either the same title or very similar title, or perhaps it's a title with a different kind of spelling. And it's difficult because you have thousands of results for those ones who are still in print, but you don't have a lot of results, and you really have to go to the 3rd, 4th, 5th page on Google, which no one does anymore. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the first page on Google, that's the one where I stop. And if I don't find information on the first page, I need to, you know, change the way in which I'm searching for something. But in this case, you really have to dig in, and it was very difficult. And there had been a couple of copies on sale, for example, on eBay for, you know, like $300, which I would never have been able to spend. And so I'm quite happy that I got it for a very reasonable price, and I really, really like this deck. I'm so happy that I got it now because it was so close to Halloween. So again, shrink wrapped, as you can see. So let's do exactly the same exercises that we've done for the Crow's Magic. Now this deck is a vampire, obviously, as you gathered, deck, but this artist's work is really amazing, and I am very excited about it. So let's see, because I actually don't remember what year this deck was published. I don't think it's as, you know, ancient, 25 years, as the Crow's Magic. So if it says something here, printed in Italy, it was still printed in Italy. So perhaps it was still in the early 2000s. I think that US Games is still printing in Italy some decks, but I'm not entirely sure, because now Italy, when it comes to, you know, costs and stuff like that, it's gone up, obviously. There you go, it works again, amazing. I managed not to destroy 2 tax boxes. So, now here we go. Oh, okay, in this case, oh, look how beautiful. My goodness, that's amazing. So the guidebook was actually not inside the wrap, which is totally fine. Let's see if it says something here about the year of publication, but I can't really see. Perhaps the year 2000, there you go. So we've got a 23-year-old deck and a 25-year-old deck. Okay, so there's still an introduction, how to use the tarot, major arcana, divinatory meaning, reverse meaning, unexpected events. This is still like the Crow's Magic. It really looks like it only gives you the general meaning of the cards when it comes to the majors. Let's see, also general meaning of the cards when it comes to the minors, so it doesn't really change from the one we've just saw. There is no Celtic spread, Celtic cross spread. There is a drawing of the day, the cross drawing. That the Celtic draw, this is interesting. Well, cross drawing, Celtic cross is the Celtic draw. The astrological wheel, which is really cool. Well, at least we got a couple of more spreads that we can pay attention to, and then about the author. So Natalie Hertz is French. She was born in Paris in 1960, February, Aquarius probably, 1968, either Aquarius or Pisces. But she went to study in the Netherlands. I'm just thinking if it says what other tarot cards she's made. But I can't really find it. Discovered tarot when she happened upon a tarot moon garden. Okay, but it doesn't say what other tarot decks she made. Well, this would be interesting if I could read it. I'm pretty sure this would be very interesting to read. Anyway, let's have a look at the cards. So as before, we have to unwrap it. This looks like it's going to be easier. And here we got the introductory card. so gorgeous. It's got that kind of Japanese feel to it because of, you know, these kind of curls and the hairstyle like that. It does give me that kind of feel, which is really cool. And there you go. It's also the creator of a Fantastical Tarot. Now, the Fantastical Tarot is another one on my wish list, and it probably would have been even higher on my wish list than the Vampire Tarot. However, I have found an Italian bookstore that sells it. It's a second-hand copy. So I want to go to Italy. I'm going to Italy in February, and I just want to go there and have a look, you know, at the tarot deck with my own eyes, just to be able to understand whether, because it's not cheap. They're not asking for a cheap price. So I really want to see whether it's worth it or not. Being open, I already noticed a couple of defects. So I really want to have a look at it. So this is a fantastic deck. I mean, think about the, you know, Samhain for the Northern Hemisphere and Halloween for the whole world. This is just the deck for it. Look how beautiful these characters are. I absolutely love all of it. I love the fact that it's got these details on the sides of the cards as well, and the very saturated colors. I don't know if it shows through the camera. I think it does. But this is really beautiful blue, for example. Such a beautiful card for the Chariot. Strength. See, obviously we are reminded of the vampire kind of theme in these cards as well, as you can see. But it's a very dark deck, but it's a kind of deck that I kind of like because of it is dark, because of its darkness. I mean, look at the Hangman. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the Death card. So I'm really, really happy that I got the opportunity to find these two decks for very, as I said before, very reasonable prices. I don't know yet what I'm going to pair it with, because as I keep on saying, you're probably tired of hearing it, but I don't have all of my decks with me. See, they still did that in US Games. They started the Minors with the Kings, and then probably going on to the 10 and going backwards, yes. So I'm curious to see the Minors, because it looks to me like they are kind of peepish, but then again, not entirely devoid of illustration, if you know what I mean. Although this to me looks more like an 8 of Swords, to be honest, rather than a 7 of Swords, because the figure looks like they've been bound. Although a mermaid could be a 6 of Swords. I don't know, I need to probably have a look. And I don't know, because in some cases, for example, US Games used to release a companion book to the tarot, even back, you know, 23 years ago. So perhaps there is a companion book that doesn't come with the tarot, but you can purchase on the side, and that would be easier to find rather than, you know, the tarot deck itself. So it's definitely peepish. I like the fact that there are illustrations though on the cards. For example, in here it looks like there are pictures on the wall. Oops. I love the backs as well. So this is still the kind of really sticky kind of finish. It's a glossy one, as you can tell. It catches the light, but I really don't mind, because it's again, it's such a really beautiful deck, unique, one of its kind, because you have a lot of vampire decks, obviously, as we know. Especially this time of the year, everyone, you know, gets their vampire decks out of the shelves and plays with them. But this is kind of unique, and it's such a pity that I never thought about reprinting it. I don't understand that. Perhaps they ran out of the copyrights. I honestly, I've never worked in the publishing industry, so I don't know how these things work. Wow, that's very intense. Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so you're not done yet, but you're on your way to complete your job. You know, that's a beautiful set of Pentacles. So the suit of Pentacles is, it looks like it's more illustrated, for example, than the other suits, and this is more like RWS to me for Five of Pentacles. Also the Four of Pentacles, decidedly. and hopefully this really cool two pentacles as well. So this was the Vampire Tarot by Natalie Hertz, and this was the last of the 3 decks that I was going to unbox with you today, and they are all 3 of them, so sorry, they are out of print and they're not that easy to find. However, if you like these decks, I may say in praise of all of the Facebook groups, there's so many Facebook groups where you can really trust everyone, because they're really taking, you know, things very seriously, especially Facebook groups where the admin people are very serious, and there's been a few scams in the years in a few groups, but you can't avoid that. But generally speaking, all the transactions that I've had so far were fantastic. So I'm quite happy to recommend, you know, there's a few Tim Allen's, for example, or you know, the rare and out of print tarot decks. There's one in Australia only for Australian traders. So I'm pretty sure that you can find you know, some of these groups close to you or in your own country as well, so you avoid hefty shipping fees. But these are absolutely a joy for me to have found. It's really happy mail day, let's say, because I just received them. 2 of them, I just received them this morning. So thank you so much for staying with me till the end of this video. More to come. Have a great day.